Did you know that there was a time in history when the great city of Ife faced an attack from a dark and evil force that nearly wiped them out, but were saved by the bravery of a young man? Let's get into the story. In ancient times, Ife was known far and wide for its beauty, its brave warriors, and the wisdom of its rulers. But what made Ife truly special among the kingdoms of the time was the secret that had kept them safe for a very long time. This secret was known only to members of the royal family. It was the secret of the mask, not just any mask, but the Golden Mask of Ife. This mask was said to be magical and made of the purest gold. It was also decorated with the brightest jewels from the mountains that were to the north, and legend spoke of its power. Whoever wore the Golden Mask would have strength beyond measure, wisdom beyond their years, and the power to protect the kingdom from any evil. But this mask had not been worn for many years, as it could only be used in times of true need. King Adedayo, the ruler of Ife, was a just and kind king. He was loved by his people and feared by his enemies. His palace was full of riches, but none was as valuable as the Golden Mask, which remained locked away, hidden from the world. The king had three sons: Prince Adewale, the oldest and strongest; Prince Olumide, the middle child, who was known for his intelligence; and the youngest, Prince Akin, who was small and quiet but had a heart full of courage. The people of Ife lived in peace for a very long time, unaware of the dark storm that was about to come. Far away in the shadowy lands beyond the mountains lived a powerful sorcerer named Olokun. Olokun was feared by all who knew his name. His magic was strong, and his heart was filled with darkness. For many years, Olokun had dreamed of taking control of Ife, but he knew that the power of the Golden Mask stood in his way. He also knew that as long as that mask was in Ife, his dark magic could not conquer the kingdom. However, one night, under the cover of darkness and with the fortifications of 1,000 native doctors, Olokun appeared in the city of Ife. He stood at the gates of the city, his black robes blowing in the wind. His eyes glowed with a dark light, and in his hand he held a twisted staff, crackling with dark magic. "I am Olokun," he shouted, his voice echoing through the city, "and I have come to claim this land as mine. Ife will bow to me, or I will destroy everything in my path." The people of Ife trembled in fear. They had heard tales of Olokun's dark magic, of the lands that he had destroyed and the people he had turned to dust. They knew they were no match for his power. The city was in chaos. People ran to their homes, hiding their children and locking their doors. But the palace remained calm, for the king had a plan. He called his council together, and they gathered in the great hall to discuss how to defend their beloved city. During the meeting of the king and his councilmen, the decision was unanimous. "We must use the Golden Mask. It is our only hope against Olokun's dark magic." The king agreed, but a thought crossed his mind. "Who will wear this mask?" he asked. "The power of the mask is great, but it is also very dangerous. It cannot be worn by anyone. It has to be worn by someone that has a pure heart and true bravery that can handle its magic." At this, the room fell silent. The elders were deep in thought. Everyone knew the risks of wearing the mask. It was not a gift that was given lightly. It could bring great power, it could save the city, but it could also bring great harm to the unworthy. Suddenly, a small voice broke the silence. It was Prince Akin, the youngest of the king's sons. The little prince stepped forward, much to the surprise of everyone gathered. "I will wear the mask." Akin, the youngest, had never really been seen as the hero of the family. His elder brother, Prince Adewale, was the strongest. Prince Olumide was the smartest, coming up with the most cleverest solutions. But Akin was never really considered for anything. The king looked at his youngest son with concern in his eyes. "Akin, my son, this is not a task to be taken lightly. Are you sure you are ready?" Akin stood tall. Though he was smaller than his brothers, his heart was beating fast, but he did not waver. "I may be young," he said, "but I love Ife with all my heart. These people are my people. This city is my city, and I am determined to protect them no matter the cost." The king studied his son's face. He was familiar with that look in his eyes, the look that told him that this boy had made up his mind. "Very well," the king said, his voice filled with pride. "You will wear the mask and face Olokun. But remember, my son, this mask is not just a weapon. It is a gift of wisdom and courage. Be sure to use it wisely." The next morning, before the sun had risen, Akin was led to the secret chamber deep within the palace. This chamber was hidden behind a thick stone wall covered in ancient carvings of battles long past. Only the king knew how to open it. He pressed his hand against a hidden switch, and with a soft rumble, the wall slid open, revealing the golden mask. Akin was dumbfounded. It was more beautiful than he had imagined. The gold shone like the morning sun, and the jewels sparkled like stars. Akin felt a strange warmth fill his chest as he stepped forward and reached for the mask. His hands trembled lightly as he lifted it from its resting place. As soon as Akin placed the mask over his face, a powerful surge of energy rushed through him. He felt stronger, faster, and wiser. His heart, once filled with nervousness, was now calm and steady, replaced with a determination that came from the magic of the mask that flowed through him, giving him the courage that he needed. "Are you ready, my son?" the king asked, his voice gentle but firm. And Akin replied, his voice strong and confident, "Father, I am ready to save our people." The people of Ife, all gathered in the palace, stood and watched at the palace entrance as a young prince, wearing the golden mark, stepped forward to face Olokun in the city. The air was thick with tension. Mothers held their children close, and the warriors stood ready, though they knew their weapons would be useless against the sorcerer's dark magic. Olokun stood tall, his eyes gleaming with wicked delight. "So they sent a boy to fight me," he said. "This will be easier than I thought." Akin stood his ground, his heart steady. "Yes, I may be young," he said, "but with the golden mask of Ife, I will protect my people. You will not take this city." This was a classic David versus Goliath fight. Olokun laughed, a harsh and cruel sound. "Do you think that little mask could ever save you?" he hissed. "My magic is stronger than anything you have ever seen." And with a flick of his staff, Olokun summoned a dark cloud that swirled around him. The sky grew dark, and the ground began to tremble. The people gasped in fear, but Akin did not move. The battle between light and darkness had begun. Akin closed his eyes and called upon the power of the golden mask. The mask began to glow, a warm golden light that pushed back the darkness. Akin raised his hands, and a beam of light shot out from the mask, cutting through the swirling clouds. Olokun growled in anger. He raised his staff once more, and lightning crackled in the air. With a wave of his hand, he sent a powerful gust of wind towards Akin, trying to knock him down. But Akin stood firm. He focused all his strength on the mask, and a shield of golden light formed around him, protecting him from the sorcerer's attack. The wind howled and swirled, but he could not break through the shield. Olokun's eyes narrowed. You are stronger than I thought," he said, "but you have not yet seen the full power of my magic." And with that, he raised the staff high above his head, and the ground began to shake. Cracks appeared in the earth, and dark flames shot up from the ground. The people of Ife cried out in terror as the flames grew higher and higher, threatening to consume the city. But Akin was not afraid. He knew that the mask's power was greater than any magic Olokun could summon. And so he took a deep breath and focused all his energy on the mask. The golden light grew brighter, and with a mighty shout, Akin unleashed a wave of light that swept across the city. The flames vanished, the cracks in the earth closed, and dark clouds disappeared. Olokun screamed in rage as the light overwhelmed him, his dark magic powerless against the golden mask. With one final burst of light, Akin set Olokun's magic flying back towards him. The sorcerer cried out in pain as his own magic consumed him. And with a flash of light, Olokun was gone, defeated by the power of the golden mask. The people of Ife erupted in cheers. Their city was saved by the bravery of Prince Akin, the unlikely hero. He removed the golden mask and handed it back to his father, the king. "You have made me very proud, my son," said a very happy King Adedayo. "Your bravery has saved our kingdom." From that day on, Prince Akin was known as the hero of Ife. The golden mask was returned to its secret chamber to be kept safe until the day when it will be needed again. And the people of Ife lived in peace, knowing that as long as the golden mask existed, their city would always be protected. Did you enjoy that story and you would like to see more? Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories like this. See you next time.